All right, so in case you missed it, this is the second installment of the Health Hub, and it's done in collaboration with Big Isisa Center for Health Journalism. Editor-in-Chief Mia Malan is joining us now in our Randburg headquarters studios. And Mia, the Health Hub kicking off things in a big way last week. What can we look forward to today?
So today we're going to hear how the Health Department plans to make vaccinations easier in South Africa. And we're also going to look at a site in Johannesburg where you can drive through to get a vaccination and where it is almost entirely run by volunteers. And as you've mentioned, we're going to hear whether any severe side effects or deaths have been linked to COVID vaccinations in South Africa.
Absolutely. I know Big Sister does a great job at explaining stuff with some grass, so all of that will be coming up in just a moment. But a lot of excitement in the week gone by because finally adults can now come forward to receive their COVID-19 vaccine, at least those over the age of 18. Let's perhaps begin by trying to understand which jabs are actually available for this population group.
Yes, so the important thing to remember is that we can only use jabs that our medicines regulator, SAHPRA, has approved. So if we look here, we can see that we have a few jabs that have been approved: Pfizer, J&J, AstraZeneca and Sinovac, which is from China. But we are currently only using two, which is Johnson & Johnson, for which you only need one shot. And we're also using Pfizer, for which you need two shots. But we've also got two other jabs that have been approved, which is AstraZeneca, which was approved much earlier this year, but which we then couldn't use because it didn't work well against the beta variant, which was dominant at the time. And we have got Sinovac here, which has been approved, but it's been approved with conditions. And one of the conditions is that it needs to provide data on how well it works against the Delta variant, and that data SAHPRA has not received up until date. And then there are two other vaccines that have applied for approval: Sinopharm from China and also Sputnik from Russia, but no decision has been reached about those two.
All right, we look forward to finding out exactly what goes into making those kind of decisions. But first, given how many jabs are available, do we know how well they actually work,
So the thing that we really want to know in South Africa is how well a jab works against the Delta variant,
right,
because that's the most common form of the variant, the virus that is being circulated in South Africa. And we also, the most immediate thing that we want from a COVID jab is to keep us out of hospital and to keep us from dying from COVID. So if we look at hospitalization protection here, you can see that Pfizer provides 96% protection against hospitalization, and J&J 73%, and then there's AstraZeneca, which provides 92% protection against hospitalization. And that is why the Health Department is considering it as a third option. It's looking into it so that we have a third option to choose from in South Africa. But Sinovac does not have any published data on how well it works against the Delta variant. And the type of data that SAHPRA is looking for is something that scientists call clinical data. And that means data that comes from trials on people, or either in a country where they've rolled out Sinovac and there was a Delta variant and they can take real-life data. When it comes to Sinopharm and Sputnik, those are not approved yet, as I've mentioned, but there's no data on how well they work against the Delta variant.
Just very quickly on AstraZeneca, you and I were speaking off air about how South Africa is predominantly actually just dealing with the Delta variant now. It's against that backdrop that AstraZeneca gets back into the fray, even though we had to, in some ways, give it away. I think it was earlier this year, if not late last year.
Yes, the thing about the beta variant and AstraZeneca was that the beta variant has an ability to escape immunity. So it makes vaccines work well. The Delta variant spreads very, very fast, but its immune escapability is not so good. So AstraZeneca does have data to show us it works against the Delta variant. So for now, with a variant that's dominant here, AstraZeneca would work, but it all depends on what is the new variant that we get in a fourth wave and whether that variant can escape the immunity of some vaccines.
Really chilling that we're speaking about a new variant in the fourth wave. But okay, as we digest that, now that a whole lot more people are coming forward to get vaccinated in some respects, there's been a lot of talks about targets in our country. How are we doing on that front?
So there are many ways to use to look at how we're doing on targets. But today, Let's just look at the number of vaccines that we've administered per day. Now, if we look at targets in that regard, we know that the Health Department said that they wanted to reach 250,000 doses per day of vaccinations by the end of August. And we know that President Cyril Ramaphosa had an even higher target at 300,000 doses per day. So let's see, how did we do this week? We can see that Monday to Thursday, on each day, we didn't reach 200,000 doses even. And then on Friday, we were at almost 250,000 doses. And that was, of course, because we opened it up for a younger age group. So what we now need to look at is, why did we not reach these targets? And for a long time, it was because we didn't have enough vaccines in the country. But that's been sorted. We've got more than enough vaccines for the next two months, at least, in South Africa. The issue now is, what will we do to get enough people to sites to get vaccinated?
Absolutely. There has been talks around making it easier for people to receive a COVID-19 vaccine. I imagine that's kind of the strategy that we should be exploring?
Yes, so what we know from evidence is the easier that you make it to get vaccinated, the more people will come for vaccinations. And that has been shown in many countries around the world with COVID vaccinations. So we need to look at ways to make it easy in South Africa, and what we will do is what the Health Department announced on Friday, that we will look at taking vaccinations into communities, and we'll also look at providing transport for people to mass vaccination sites so that we can get more people there faster.
All right, absolutely important details there from Malan, as we try to, in some respects, anchor our heads around how on earth we should be moving forward with our inoculation drive.